100th birth anniversary of Jose Pepe Diokno, former senator, political prisoner, oppositionist to the Marcos dictatorship, is a wonderful time to remember him with gratitude, as my relationship with him is one of the most wonderful gifts in my life in the Philippines. In my 54 years, it was wonderful to get to know him. I first met his wife, as the media calls the high cheekboned wife of Pepe, at the immigration deportation trial of Ed Gerlach, my former Marinola, who was on trial for being put out of the Philippines. We used to have Mass every Monday night at Pepe's house while Pepe was still in prison. And Maitet, the daughter, used to make bread, and Martin, the little fellow, used to put his little insects on the altar. When it was time for their silver anniversary, Pepe was allowed out of prison for that day to celebrate his anniversary. We had a lovely liturgy led by Ed Gerlach at the house of Pepe, and followed by a lovely laureate, Chinese laureate. Wonderful celebration. His wife put yellow ribbons around all the trees outside. That was one of the first yellow ribbons in the Philippines. Another important moment was when he came out of prison and we started a working relationship, preparing things for opposition to martial law dictatorship. It was a terrible situation. And I was able to collect data on torture because I worked with political detainees of the Philippines. And we put together the first booklet on the torture accounts. And Pepe wrote the third chapter, which was the legal part. And we also prepared a prayer service to be performed in the Manila Cathedral, but the Archbishop Sin closed the doors on us, so we could not go in. So we had our prayer service on the steps of the Manila Cathedral. Pepe was there, and also Lorenzo Tañada, former senator as well, and many others. And we had a wonderful prayer service which I prepared and used some texts from the book of Isaiah. When Jose Naku was arrested and put in prison, and Pepe was his lawyer, we went to the trial, and that prayer service was Exhibit A as subversive literature. Pepe was sick. He was a smoker, as those of you know him knew. He smoked like a chimney, ended up with smoker's cancer, and for more than a year was in his own room, bedridden, and his lovely wife, Nena, was there beside him constantly. She was always with him when he went on his journeys to be a lawyer pro bono for the poor, for the indigenous, for those who couldn't afford, for those who were oppressed. She was always by his side. She never left his side in his sickness, that whole year that he was bedridden. She was always there. And I would visit now and then, and I visited the day of his birthday, February 26th, after lunch on my way home from school. And I'll never forget it as long as I live. He raised his head and said, "Hi, Helen," at the loudest voice. And then he never spoke again. And he died a few hours later, the next day, of course, around 2:30 in the morning. And it's a memory that I cherish and treasure and will treasure until I die. It's a wonderful memory. And Pepe's example of his service to the poor, even though it was, and originally Pepe and Nena, they lived in a very plush area of Manila. They had lovely paintings, lovely items, all kinds of things. But when martial law was declared, all of that was lost because Pepe refused to bow to Marcos. He refused to betray himself and to betray the country. So he was able to only get no income for his work. He did legal things and flag was founded, I think, around 1974, I think, but I knew him before that, before FLAG, yeah. The Free Legal Assistance Group. And they did wonderful things. And his son, Jose Jr., Chell, is doing the same as his father, walking in his father's footsteps. So I got to know the whole family, and it really is a gift in my life to have known them all. And I am so grateful that I got to know him during my time in the Philippines.